Ni hao mao, Ponyo. Greetings, friends and neighbors and enemies and people in faraway lands. How y'all doing today? It's the second day of 2022, and I was just, getting up, drinking my morning ginseng tea and reading the news, and um, I had something I want to talk to you guys about. Like, it's this mass censorship thing that we see going on with big tech. So really, and I'm not trying to judge it or moralize it. I'm trying to figure out like what's the end game, and I'm trying to figure out like the cause and effect. The causal effect of this. Because the people who are implementing these tyrannical procedures with like silencing a large group of people whose are dissenters, I guess, people whose opinion strays from the like narrative or whatever, and you just silence these people, and look, I'm not coming at this from an angle of like I'm mad personally. I mean, I haven't particularly been censored um, by any social media outlets, um, but I do understand that it's really not about misinformation. Like that's just the guise. Like, and that's the problem with like these radical leftists. Like they invent these words to like justify their actions or whatever, and all these words are always abstractions. They use abstractions to justify actions, which is kind of an oxymoronic concept if you think about it. Um, but again, like yesterday, I saw that Dr. Robert Malone, the inventor of mRNA technology, was banned from Twitter. He said that he had no idea why they banned him. Obviously he's a dissenter. He's not not all on board with the mRNA vaccines that we're using for COVID. And then today, the Congresswoman, I think she's from Georgia, Taylor Greene, blonde-headed lady. I don't know a whole lot about her, but she's silenced, and I just don't understand how like Twitter has, particularly Twitter, Facebook, Google, all these like oligarch like type people have partaken to this mass censorship, and like what's their end game? Like you would think these people would be smart enough to like consult like people, like think tanks into like you know causal effects of like mass censorship, because regimes have done this for years regardless of what side of the aisle, whether they're right-wing regimes or left-wing regimes or even moderate regimes have partaken upon mass censorship, and it never works. I mean, the same thing happens every time. And it's always used to vilify a group. Like the people who are the censors are always ultimately the bad guys. So, theoretically. So I just don't really understand, like, really what's the point. And, furthermore, like, when the internet came around, the brilliant conception of it was this mass information system that everybody has at their fingertips, and the ability to exchange ideas freely and openly. Everybody would have a voice. There would be no censorship. There would be no, and pretty much it was just like the Wild West. And now it's kind of been tamed by these radical leftists, arbitrators of truth. And the thing about it is like they're not really arbitrators of truth. I mean, they are arbitrators of truth, but like they're not. It's not about truth. It's not about misinformation. And if you don't believe me, you can get on Facebook or Twitter or something like that, and you can post all the misinformation you want about COVID, as long as it conforms to the narrative. So you could get on there and talk about, how bad COVID is and like how deadly it is, and it could be like not true. It could be, lies. You could say it's killing one out of every three people or something like that. And they're not going to censor anything like that. And the same with the vaccines. You could get on there and say anything you want about the vaccines, as long as it shines the vaccine in a positive light and like doesn't create any kind of hesitancy. So it's not about misinformation. It's just about it's really about tyranny and like narrative control and conformity. And I think that's a big deal. But I just wonder, like, whenever I signed on to social media today just for a brief minute, and like I saw that Green lady got the Green Taylor Green got suspended from Twitter, and it was the first thing that popped up. I just kind of browsed the comment section, because I just like to kind of get a feel of what the normie kind of opinion is. And it was just a lot of like, oh great, she doesn't deserve to have an opinion. She's constantly lying and spreading hate and all this kind of stuff. And like that shit doesn't even mean anything. Like the people who say those kind of things, Like they literally are incapable of independent thought. And I'm not, again, I don't even know who this green lady is. I have no opinions about her. I am a little bit familiar with Malone, and he's an expert on this stuff. So I think that he's entitled to an opinion. I don't think you should silence anybody. I don't think you should silence anybody's opinion. And this really gets back down to like the difference between like left wing and right wing thought. Like I feel like right wing conservative type thinkers are entirely about the truth, the freedom of to exchange ideas and debate and these kind of things. And I feel like left wingers are really just more about like conformists and abstractions and like feelings. And again, that's not like me really moralizing the two. That's just the way that I feel about it. Like as a I consider myself somewhat of a right wing person. Like I'm definitely a truth seeker, and I wouldn't ever want like people who disagree with me to be censored. Like, and I'm not going to look on Twitter to see if I want, how I feel about COVID or whatever, or if I want to partake in a medical procedure or something like that. Like, I don't give a shit what these people think. Like, I'm going to do my own research. I'm going to consult my own people, and I'm going to do whatever I feel is best. Like, this idea that we're all robots and by banning people on the internet, we're going to get everybody to think the exact same is kind of silly. And this stuff's always going to have blowback. So I just don't understand, like, who these oligarchs are surrounding themselves with, who's telling them that this is a good idea. So anyway, if y'all have any thoughts or comments, man, hit me up in the comments section, or thoughts or questions. Hit me up in the comments section and let me know, and I'll make sure maybe answer you, or at least maybe try to even make another video. Maybe I'm not seeing this the right way. Like, I mean, what's the end game of this, man? Maybe y'all can help me out a little bit with this. I'm just having a little bit of cognitive dissonance. So anyway, y'all have a great day. God bless.